You're about to hear the most informative, inspirational, persuasive show in America, the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership.
Hello, being proactively informed today. Welcome to Public Affairs Thursday. Now, I've been doing some research about this digital currency thing. And I gotta say, we citizens have got to be able to start holding Congress and the executive branch accountable. I think we need to go to a more proactive citizen legislature. We're not analyzing any news today. But one thing I will say is the fear-mongering on both sides of the aisle has got to stop. Let's start using love. Let's start using hope. But I did some research, and the central bank will be doing the digital currency. But here's what's laughable, folks. And this shouldn't scare you. I want you guys to have hope no matter what. Because I am your public affairs consultant. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, minor in mass communications. And so I'm your mass communicator for the day to give hope. CBDC is something that the central bank is doing to try to back up our currency even more. To keep the dollar from falling. Now, if you ask me, it's BS. The James Hendricks School of Leadership was established by the James Hendricks Empowerment Network to say this: let's stop spreading fear, okay? On my flagship blog on Blogger, Empower Your Pattern, I will say this: I have a blog out on fear. Now, it won't be fully official until I get a video on there. I should be able to get a video out there around 6 o'clock Central Time. And I'm recording this way early because I've got a busy morning heading up. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about this. Limited government. Limited government. You know, I don't think that very many people are well informed of the Constitution and the checks and balances. Unless you have actually read the Constitution, which I advise you to do that. There's a U.S. Constitution apps on for your phone to download. Also ask you to download the Federalist papers. Read them, because it would help you understand the proper function of government. And I think these liberals are trying to corrupt what Alexander Hamilton is been talking about. Let's go to the Federalist Papers. Let's go to that and see if I can find a section that deals with limited government, because we need to know what our founding fathers said is the proper function of government. Okay? Now, a lot of some of the early Federalist deal was about how it's supposed to deal with foreign policy and what we're supposed to deal with about that. There's a bunch of, I'm going to try to find one that deals with, because I honestly think that all this domestic faction and hostilities. This isn't what the founding fathers had in mind. And I know a lot of people on the news, they're still talking about COVID. January 6th. Can I be honest with you? Can we get over that? Let's stop spreading the fear and start spreading the hope and the love. Here's one. The utility of the union in respect to revenue. I want you to read this. To the people of the state of New York. So people in New York, you need to listen to this. The effects of union upon the commercial prospects of the states have been sufficiently let me find the paragraph. The prosperity of commerce is now perceived and acknowledged by all enlightened statesmen to be the most useful as well as the most productive source of national wealth, and has accordingly, because of primary object of their political cares, by multiplying the means of gratification, by promoting the introduction and circulation of the precious metals. See, that's something else. Limited government. What do we have? Not very many people know about what happened regarding the gold standard. Well, guess what? I've studied it over the years. Something else I advise you to read, the books by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. I advise you to read those. Hamilton and the other followers believed in limited government and free market capital, free enterprise. Those Hamlin and all together. And if the Treasury Department, if the central bank is trying to get in the way of public commerce, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of people are going to say no more, especially where I come from. Let me tell you something. I've observed things for the past 6 years since Trump took office. And my brother and I have been at odds about a lot of things. But there's one thing he and I have in common. And that is, in 2020, near some of the last times I saw him, he said, Biden ain't controlling me. He said, if America's smart, we'll keep Trump in there. Of course, I don't blame this on the American people. And I am not here to talk about the election. I'm here to talk about the proper function of government. And you know something? We need to be more well-informed and work on our kids. I worry about Gen Z. I'll be honest with you, I worry about Gen Z. Because they're glued to the screens, they're mind numb, and my concern is that they'll listen to what the government says. Now, there are some exceptions, don't get me wrong. And, even though I feel like going through some of the particulars, I will not. Because my concern is it might get me, the James Hendrick School Leadership YouTube channel banned. And I can't, I gotta be honest with you. The reason why I say what I say is this. It's time to move on. Both sides of the aisle. It's time to move on. And these people, Republican in name only, can I be honest with you? I'm not going to call them rhinos. You want to know why? Because this rhino don't consider them a rhino. Let's take out the I and just call them RNOs. Or RNOs. As in Republican. Not. Yeah. You guys got to forgive me. Most people my age, born in the early 70s, they came of age in the 80s. Well, because I was developmentally delayed, I came of age in the 1990s. So, do forgive me. But I'm gonna speak my heart here. I'm a 53-year-old man which believes that there needs to be limited government. And so did the founding fathers. Here's something else that people don't know. Those founding fathers that believed in limited government, the majority of them, they professed their belief in Jesus. So, let you guys know, tomorrow is Fearless Faith Friday. So, there you go. Oh, here's another line from the Federalist paper here. The ability of a country to pay taxes must always be proportioned in a great degree to the quantity of money in circulation and to the celerity, that's another word to use at Toastmasters, with which it circulates. Commerce contributing to both those objects must of necessity render the payment of taxes easier and facilitate the requisite supplies to the Treasury. We believe that people should pay taxes. Yeah, I agree with that. But you know what? The taxes don't need to be burdensome. Okay? And the left for decades, ever since the class of 68, and close the loopholes for the rich. Close the loopholes for the rich. What do you think they're doing in the fall before the election year? They say they're going to do that every year. I was schooled in politics by my grandfather. And he said, son, you know when some of them are telling the truth. But you also know when they're promising BS that they can't perform. He said, if I hear that they're promising BS that they can't perform, that tells me that they are lying. And, back then I couldn't understand why Granddad did not have party loyalty. Granddad had had loyalty to the man in office. I may not have understood Granddad's politics, and but one thing I do know is he did teach me some things. One thing he did teach me early on in my teen years, because we talked about politics a lot, is that both sides have their hands dirty. Both sides had their hands dirty. But Jimmy, most of us patriots are on the Republican side. Good, that's good. If that's the way you want to be. And in many ways, I run pretty close to the Republican side. But not nationally. I am what's known as a conservative Federalist. And I think for the next few minutes, I might go through my political history. I started getting interested in politics when I was 10, watching my parents do the news. And back then, Reagan was running for president, and I was backing Reagan. And then, that was until I was 13 years old. And my grandmother, bless her heart, she hated politics with a passion. I think she used to either get mad or hide whenever me and Granddad were talking about politicians. But she listened, I think, too much to the news and said, well, Reagan's going to cut our Social Security. See, that's the thing. The news dangles with fear. And I couldn't understand that. So believe it or not, I switched on to the Democrat side. Especially when I started reading up about John F. Kennedy. I was like, I'm a John F. Kennedy Democrat. And then in 1993, I was watching Rush Limbaugh one day with my big friend Keith. And Rush said, John F. Kennedy was a conservative. And Keith told me, he said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what policy to take in for. But I want you to think about this. John F. Kennedy was a conservative. And I saw that the Democratic Party was departing from conservative principles. And you know what? My friends were right. My daddy, he was right. Of course, my daddy and my grandma on my mom's side, they both distrusted politicians of any sort. And so in 94, I switched over to Republican. And I still vote that way in Texas because a lot of Texas Republicans are very conservative. But there's some nationwide who are not. They just want the label so they can get elected. Well, heck with labels. The heck with labels. I am a conservative Federalist. Okay? And I'm kind of like, if you're not going to go by conservative principles, what is this country for? I mean, come on, guys. How long are we going to sit there and let our current government drag us by the nose to the point where we just absolutely have to live in fear? Let me tell you something. After what I went through in the inner cities of Arlington, Texas, I refuse to live in fear. Okay? I refuse to live in fear. But Jimmy, this is going on. But Jimmy, listen. Having gone to journalism school, I know the difference between facts and propaganda. And you should too. That's why I say at the end of my shows, I say this at the end of this show every time. is for you to take care and be proactively informed. And hug your family tight, please. Teach them correct principles, please. Please do that, and you will be blessed. I hope you enjoy listening to the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership classroom. Until next time, keep up hope, okay? Please, keep up hope. Keep up the faith. One of my mantras is like a chant to soothe myself. Jesus saves and I'm okay. So listen to me on this one. Jesus saves and we're all going to be okay. Take care and be proactively informed. God bless you. And remember this, from the bottom of my heart, Jimmy loves you. I really love you.